Welcome back, fear-fiends, to the Chillergeist League tables. Today, we've got a killer matchup for you in the comedy horror division. But before we dive into the stats, let's look at the career trajectories of our two terrifying contenders. In the blood-red corner, we have the legendary Deadites, or the Kandarian demon itself. A true pioneer of terror, haunting our screens since the very first Cabin in the Woods in 1981. Boris, what do you make of their longevity in the field?
Subject Deadites' operational lifespan is statistically impressive. Doctor. Spanning multiple cinematic decades and mediums. However, one must evaluate its consistency rating through various hosts and shifts in audience fear thresholds, particularly its fluctuating physical manifestation.
Exactly. Has it adapted, or is it relying on past glory, simply possessing whoever is handy? And then, in the corpse blue corner, we have the younger, perhaps hungrier, Killer Klowns from outer space.
Subject Clown, originating in 1988, displays a high rookie impact factor and a rapidly increasing tactical evolution metric. Their future prospects appear statistically robust, Doctor, particularly given their diverse arsenal and surprising adaptability.
Precisely. So, we have the ancient, shape-shifting evil versus the circus-themed extraterrestrial invasion. The classic, almost primordial horror versus the bizarre, joyful chaos. Who truly dominates? After this brief look at their careers, we'll dive deep into the numbers that define their terror. Stay tuned for the tale of the tape. Alright, fear fiends, welcome back to the tale of the tape for our first comedy horror clash. Deadites versus Killer Klowns. Let's get straight into Boris's invaluable statistical analysis.
Starting with total confirmed kills across all canonical appearances. Subject Deadite, with its widespread influence and numerous hosts, boasts an estimated kill count exceeding 500 across its various cinematic and television manifestations, a statistically significant figure. Subject Clown, while confined to a single primary cinematic appearance, managed 83 confirmed terminations within that limited time frame. A lower volume, but a highly concentrated output.
Wow, the Deadites have quite the body count, Boris.
Indeed, Doctor. A highly pervasive, if somewhat indirect, output. Moving to average kills per appearance. This is difficult to precisely quantify for Subject Deadite due to its nature as a possessing entity. However, in each localized outbreak event, it achieves a 90% victim conversion rate of available targets. Subject Clown averages 83 kills per primary appearance, demonstrating high initial efficiency. Kill efficiency rating. Kills per active screen minute. Subject Deadite's efficiency varies based on host resistance and the Book of the Dead's proximity. However, when actively possessing, it maintains a formidable 0.9 kills per minute. Subject Clown, due to its varied attack methodologies, maintains a slightly lower but still notable 0.7 kills per minute when engaged in direct pursuit.
The Deadites really get straight to business once they've got their hooks in.
They are, Doctor, a highly efficient, if somewhat repetitive, output. Next, time between kills, average gap. Subject Deadite exhibits immediate succession once a host is acquired. Subject Clown's interkill interval is highly variable, ranging from rapid impalement to prolonged, elaborate gags. Data suggests an average of 4.2 minutes between initial capture and final termination.
Ah, the clowns prefer to play with their food, do they?
Precisely, Doctor. A less efficient but more theatrically oriented approach. Weapon versatility score. Subject Deadite primarily utilizes its possessed host's physicality and basic environmental objects. The score is low at 3. Subject Clown, however, has utilized 25 distinct methods of subject termination, ranging from cotton candy cocoons to acidic pies, indicating superior adaptability and creativity in its arsenal.
Now that's what I call flair. The clowns certainly know how to put on a show.
Indeed, their durability and resurrection count. Subject Deadite has sustained countless dismemberments and theoretical terminations across its history, with a consistently high return to operational status count via spiritual reemergence. Subject Clown, while exhibiting surprising resilience to conventional weaponry, has no documented resurrection instances beyond its initial arrival. Preferred pursuit methods/speed. Subject Deadite's method is varied, often relying on unsettling movements or brute force, with speed dependent on the possessed entity. Subject Clown employs highly versatile methods, including sentient popcorn, shadow puppets, and small, sentient bikes. Their speed is surprisingly high, averaging 15 miles per hour on pursuit.
It's terrifying because you know the Deadites can just keep coming back in new forms.
An inefficient but psychologically potent tactic, Doctor. Signature sound/catchphrase impact, auditory intimidation score. Subject Deadites' guttural growls and mocking mimicry score an average 7.1 on the Verbal Psychological Distress Index. Subject Clown's unsettling laughter and circus-themed musical cues score an average 8.9, indicating superior fear-inducing rhetoric through sheer bizarre joviality. Stealth/ambush proficiency rating. Subject Deadite exhibits a 70% success rate in sudden, unexpected appearances, often leveraging victim vulnerability. Subject Clown exhibits an unparalleled 90% success rate in sudden, unexpected appearances, utilizing spatial distortion and misdirection. Their ability to bypass conventional sightlines remains unquantified but highly effective. Overall fear factor/iconic presence score, Chillergeist consensus rating. Based on preliminary polling and critical analysis, Subject Deadite maintains an 8.5 primal terror coefficient, particularly due to its relentless, insidious nature. Subject Clown maintains an 8.0 primal terror coefficient, primarily due to its unique visual design and unpredictable, gleeful malice.
Fascinating data, Boris. Now for my personal assessment, focusing on the artistry of the kill and the fun factor. First, stalking prowess, the approach. Does our villain demonstrate the patient, silent grace of a hunter? Or are they merely a blunt instrument of chaos? For the Deadites, it's a terrifying, relentless pursuit, often a slow, shambling menace that grows more intense. The clowns, however, approach with a mischievous, almost playful malice. Their stalking is less about stealth and more about surreal disorientation. I'd give the edge to the clowns here for their unique, unsettling approach. Next, psychological play, the build-up. Does the villain play with their prey? Do they relish the fear they induce? The Deadites definitely revel in the torment, mocking their victims and twisting their loved ones. It's cruel, visceral psychological torture. The clowns, though, are masters of bizarre, circus-themed mind games, shadow puppets, balloon animals, even making you believe you're safe before the grand finale. For sheer, twisted creativity and torment, the clowns win this round. Moving on to weapon selection and execution, the precision. Is the weapon an extension of their will, chosen for its aesthetic impact as much as its lethality? The Deadites are pretty basic, whatever's at hand, usually an axe or a chainsaw. Effective but not artistic. The Killer Klowns, however, transform cotton candy into cocoons, pies into acid, popcorn into sentient monsters. Their weapons are as much props in a macabre show as tools of destruction. They are the clear winners here for their sheer inventiveness. Now, territory dominance, the aura. Does the villain command their environment? Do they become an inseparable, terrifying part of the setting? The Deadites transform any isolated cabin or dark woods into a realm of pure dread. Their presence seeps into the very timbers of the house. The clowns, though, bring their big top with them, turning a small town into their own twisted carnival. They don't just dominate, they recreate the environment in their image, filling it with funhouse mirrors of death. I'd say the clowns exert a more active, transformative dominance. Finally, signature flair, the personal touch. Every artist has a signature. The Deadites have their unsettling voices and the constant reanimation. It's iconic, yes. But the Killer Klowns? Their cotton candy cocoons, the popcorn guns, the literal shadow puppets that eat you alive, and of course, those unsettlingly joyful faces. They have a unique brand of macabre whimsy that is simply unmatched. For sheer personality and unforgettable touches, the clowns take this one. Well, Boris, the numbers are in and my artistic assessment leans heavily one way. The Deadites are classic, relentless horror, no doubt. But the Killer Klowns from outer space bring a level of bizarre creativity, an undeniable sense of fun to their terror that aligns perfectly with the Chillergeist ethos. They are higher on the official top 10 list, and in my book, they've absolutely earned it for their sheer comedic horror artistry.
Statistical analysis indicates Subject Clown's higher ranking is consistent with their enhanced tactical innovation and auditory intimidation score. Doctor, the data supports your subjective assessment. Subject Clown progresses to the next round.
There you have it, fear-fiends. The Killer Klowns from outer space advance. Join us next time for another thrilling matchup in the Chillergeist Horror League.